Hi, everybody. I'm happy to present to you our Q2 video clip on behalf of Team Kennedy. Today, we're going to be talking about how much money to keep on the sideline versus investing. Okay, so typically when we receive questions regarding how much money clients should be keeping in cash, we start by explaining what we call the bucket approach. Now, if I back up for a second, when I refer to cash, I really mean short-term liquid monies, which could mean money in a checking or savings account, high-yield savings, treasuries, CDs, etc. Now, onto the bucket approach. As I go through this, we encourage you to jot down some rough numbers to use this as an exercise for you. There are no wrong answers, as this will all be based on your personal comfort level. So the bucket approach, as we explain to clients, has three buckets. The first for your emergency fund, the second for short-term monies, which we'll refer to as 2 to 3 years, and the third bucket is for long-term monies, so 3 or more years. The first bucket. We'll start with explaining how to determine the number you might want in your first bucket, or your emergency fund. There's what we call the Big Four, which ideally will cover unexpected health costs, so you tear your ACL skiing and you have to pay a deductible, unexpected home costs, your furnace breaks and you need money tomorrow because it's winter, unexpected auto costs, God forbid you get in a car crash and you need to pay a deductible, and the fourth is job loss. So say your company enters a rough stretch and you get laid off. How long will it take you to find another job? 1 month? 8 months? We see most clients keep anywhere from 3 months to 1 year of living expenses in liquid monies for this one, depending on their comfort level. Now, if you're retired, keep in mind that this portion wouldn't apply. You just have to worry about those first three items. Again, there's no wrong answer to this, but we encourage you to try to find a number that you are comfortable with that will satisfy the above, and then we move on to the next bucket. So the second bucket. Now that we've established how much we need to keep liquid in our emergency fund to feel comfortable in our day-to-day lives, let's move into our second bucket, which will be our short-term monies. For our short-term monies, these are monies we anticipate needing within the next 2 to 3 years, but we don't want to keep liquid per se. For example, maybe you're planning a trip to Europe, or you know that you want to put in a pool or remodel your bathroom, but you're not quite ready to do that yet. This is what our short-term bucket will consist of. Now, inside of this bucket, you don't want to take on market risk with these monies because your guess is as good as ours when it comes to what the market will do over the next couple of years. But we're okay with not touching these monies for a little bit and want to earn a little more yield than what our checking account is paying us. So here's where we may suggest items like CDs, treasuries, high yield savings accounts, and possibly money markets. Now, there are pros and cons to each, limitations, potential penalties, risks, and FDIC considerations, so that would be a conversation to have with us first. The last item that we remind clients of is to not necessarily go shopping around for the best yield that's 0.01% higher than the bank on the other side of the street. Now, doing your research is important, but the amount of time and effort it will take to find the best rate out there may not be worth it in the end. All in all, monies you'll need within 2 to 3 years should be placed inside of this second bucket. Okay, great. So now that we've established our emergency fund number and our short-term bucket number, let's discuss what to do with your hard-earned monies that you've saved so diligently. So third, the last bucket. We'll call this your long-term monies. This is where we will look to invest in a combination of stocks and bonds depending on your specific situation, goals, and needs. Now, with that being said, we could be preparing you for retirement, or if you're in retirement, preparing you for longevity and or next generation planning. Now, for our younger clientele, to keep it simple, we will most likely be more growth oriented than someone who's in retirement who is drawing down on their monies. For those of you who are withdrawing monies, this is where we'll look to establish a balance of stocks and bonds to fit your needs and goals. And to give you an idea, the way we determine how much we should keep in bonds is based on your specific withdrawal rate and your goals. The reason we want money in bonds is because if the stock market is down and it takes a couple years to recover, such as in 2008, when the S&P 500 took almost 5 years to recover and bonds fortunately held up, we'll want to have bonds that we can go to so that we can supplement your income need. Now, obviously, no guarantees on returns going forward, but that is the basis of it. And we can save that conversation for another day. So to recap what we've discussed here today, using the bucket approach can be a tactful strategy in determining how much money you should be keeping on the sidelines versus investing. Remember, everyone's needs and comfort levels are different, so there's no right or wrong answer to any of this. We're just providing a reference that you can use if you're ever questioning the amount of funds that you have on the sideline. Hope this helps, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you soon.